as for James Trafford, well, he spent last season on loan at Bolton in League One. He is set to join Burnley now from Manchester City for £19 million. He grew up on a farm in Cumbria and was set on becoming a farmer at one point if his GCSEs didn't go to plan. But he's very much now cementing his career in football. Let's speak to someone who has been a part of his progress. That is the Blackburn Rovers goalkeeping coach, Ben Benson, who joins us this morning. Ben, hello. Good morning.
Morning, Ben.
Morning, Natalie. Morning, Dean.
Great to have you with us. Just explain to us how you first met James.
So many moons ago, I was at Carlisle, working in Carlisle United's academy. James came in initially as an outfield player, came on trial as an outfield player, and one day, one training session rather, I think he said, I also play in goals, and I think his dad who convinced him actually, because he just wanted to play outfield. But anyways, his dad got his gloves from the car. He joined in a goalkeeping session with us, and that was that really. That was his first foray into goalkeeping.
Ben, so obviously you've just answered the question I was going to ask you there. What's his strength? He's obviously good with his feet after being an outfield player. But what other strengths would you say he's got?
Do you know, Dean? I think the biggest compliment I could probably give him is he's very, very calm, very composed. He's got quiet confidence about him, and very, unflappable really. Especially obviously with the save he made in the 98th minute. I think that's a real good reflection of him. Takes everything in his stride. Nothing's too big a moment, and just super cool and calm.
Do you know, I've not really come across a goalkeeper that's any good, that's not a bit eccentric. He must have that streak in him.
Look, no doubt, I know you'll have probably seen the interview afterwards. And he mentioned about his dream about saving a penalty, how he's told his friend back home he was going to save a penalty. So, very, very confident in his ability and rightly so. And but like I say, charting his progress as a young goalkeeper. Just quiet confidence, I would suggest, was never the life and soul, albeit in the academy, but just had a quiet confidence about him, took everything in his stride. Nothing was ever a problem. I think he actually wore the same Carlisle goalkeeping shirt for 4 years. He never wanted to ask for another one. So when he was a youngster, he wore that for about 4 years. So that's just typical of him. No ego, no edge to him at all. Just quiet confidence about himself.
He's had a number of loan spells. Obviously, after Carlisle, he went to Manchester City, had a loan spell at Accrington. Last season, as we mentioned, was at Bolton, and now he's been reported that he's going to be moving to Burnley. How far do you see his career taking him?
Well, I think what Manchester City have done, they've put in a fantastic loan strategy for him, first and foremost. Obviously, he went to Accrington, which I imagine he's pulled apart to the programme and scheme of work he's had at Man City. Loans are obviously can be traumatic. They can be difficult experiences. But I think actually it has set him up in brilliant stead. He obviously went to Bolton. He ended up playing really a full season for Bolton, albeit over 2 seasons. But again, as grew with the game, as grew every time he's had his opportunity. So, I think the loans have actually been of paramount importance to him, Natalie, to be honest. I think because they can be traumatic, they can be difficult, taking players outside the comfort zone. But I think Manchester City have managed it brilliantly well. I think he's managed it brilliantly well. And as we see now, the sky's hopefully the limit for him.
So, Ben, you might be one of the people that he asks advice for at some point. They probably have his dad and a few other people, his agent or whatever. What would you point him? Which direction would you point him in now? How do you think he's mapped his career out so he ends up in the England team, the main team?
Look, I think, Dean, that you mentioned his family there, and I think it's only fitting I pay a little bit of tribute to them as well, because they his background into football hasn't been conventional. He's a farming lad, farming family, but his family have been phenomenally supportive of him. Obviously moving down to Man City at the age of 12 as he did, I imagine most parents think of that in horror and think, oh my goodness, how did they do it? But they've been fantastic. James and I speak quite a lot. Sometimes we have difference of opinion on pathways and career and whatever else. But I think as you mentioned, as an introduction, he's potentially got the opportunity to go and play Premier League football next season. Dean, you'll know better than anybody. They're very, very hard moves to get. And not everybody can play Premier League at such an age. So I think he's probably got to ride with it if he thinks that's the best thing for his career. I think getting senior games in the Premier League is hopefully will give him a real good opportunity to go on and be a full national player for England. It's certainly a good barometer anyways.
Ben, thanks for being with us today.
Yeah, thanks,
Cheers.
Ben.
My pleasure.
Great to have you with us. That's the Blackburn goalkeeping coach
Good
who's
future.
Worked with James Trafford when he was at Carlisle a few years ago. But yeah, he's expected to move to Burnley this summer in what is, I think, around a £19-20 million move.